What's up, guys? Mega Leader here with another episode of Dusty Hell. Today we're going on a mission. We are going to the moon. Let's get started. So, to go to the moon, I actually went ahead and built a little kind of space outpost here. I still haven't fixed this cactus farm. So this is going to be our building that we put on the moon, and we probably take to other planets. It's a 9x9 on the exterior, so a 7x7 interior. This should be good enough to let us get to a planet and put down oxygen, stuff like that, have a little base camp set up so that we can survive there for extended periods of time, things like that. So what I went ahead and did was gathered up all the stuff that we need. So we've got power, we've got oxygen stuff here. I've got the oxygen bubble distributor, so we'll be able to get oxygen set up with some oak leaves. We've got oxygen collectors, the compressor to refill tanks. I've also got an energy cube here. I'm not sure, actually, do these wires hook up? Let's check our configuration. They do hook up to this, so I'm guessing they work. I think the power's on this side. Is this getting power? This is getting power. Okay, so it will get power from this guy. So that is awesome. And that means we should be all good. I've got all the resources I need to build our outpost there. We've got our fuel loader and a tank of fuel. And I should probably bring some fluid pipes and a servo. Do I have a servo and fluid pipes? Really, we just need one to be able to move our fluid there. And I believe this is everything. I also made a flux bore. This will let us mine a 3x3 area, and it also has unbreaking, which means that it's more power efficient. If we take a look at our checklist, I did go ahead, like I said before, and it's in this menu. I made a parachute. This was pretty simple. So we've got a parachute coming back home. Going to the moon, we do have oxygen. So we've got oxygen mask, oxygen gear. I also made this frequency module so we can hear in space. This guy right here is a loot drop that we get up in space. We're not making the space station yet, so we'll have to make a grapple hook at some point, and then everything else, Mars, Venus, asteroids, we'll get to that eventually. I think we are ready to rock here. So, if we get this guy set up, we've got our countdown. We'll hit space to launch. I'm really hoping, can we do a backup? Backup, start. There we go. The server has been backed up. We're ready to rock just in case there's a catastrophic failure. Let's do it. There we go. Actually, we could steer the ship, but it's not necessarily. We're just going straight up. We're climbing Y200, Y250, Y300, Y350, 400, 450, 500. I think we go up to 1,000. 550, 600. And we are off. And here we are, our galaxy map. So we are on the overworld. That's currently, you can see our little icon there. We've got these other planets, and I think currently we are going to go to the moon. If we go back to the overworld, so if we had the enhanced machine chassis, mana infused ingots, tin wall blocks, ultimate control circuits, and octatic capacitors, we could build a space station, but we don't have that yet. We can click the moon and we can go there. So let's see. It has dungeons. Yes. Our gravity is 38%. Sweet. What is that? Oh, asteroids. Neat. We'll get there eventually. Let's go back to the overworld. Click on that. And the moon. Atmospheric pressure unknown. Solar wind. Radiation. 18 hours. So let's launch to the moon. Interesting. I've never seen this. In previous versions, it was just like, oh, launch and go there. I don't know how we boost it. Apparently there's a way to boost it. All right, we'll be back. All right, so we've got to hold space to slow down, but we're going to do that once we get closer. So we have to slow down to like 10 meters per second. How long does it take to slow down? Yeah, so this will take us a long time to get to the surface. I guess it's not that long. Ooh, there's some craters here, some AE2 craters, I think. So we're holding down the space bar. Very interesting. Nice. All right. So let's see. We can take our rocket. There's some fuel in there. Now, because our base is chunk loaded, we should have access to our inventory. Yeah, so we can do some crafting up here if absolutely necessary. We can break that. If I had brought a jetpack with, we would have the benefit of having that. But let's take a look here and see if we can break into these. I'm not sure if this is 2 meteors. It might be 2 meteors. I believe it is. Ooh, platinum. We got the calculation and silicon press. That's good. Those are going to be helpful. If we crack through this guy, hopefully this will have the 2 other presses that we'll need. We won't have to look too far. Ooh, it does not. We do have 3 of the 4 that we need, though. It is very cold here, which is not great for us. I did not bring any lava. Do I have lava? I do not. I believe we could make a furnace. We could cook. We are taking cold damage right now. We are too cold. I think if we do this, this would warm us up. We might have to move quickly. I did not make the thermal gear getting to this, but we might be able to do this right now. Actually, I don't think I can because I don't have enough circuits. We only have 16 circuits. So that is a little problematic. We might have to just abandon mission and go back home. Do torches provide heat? Ooh, they get burned out. That's not great. It is too cold here. That's what I'm finding out. I didn't bring any lava. Looks like we might be in a slightly warmer area. taking damage is kind of slowing us down. If we use our hang glider, does we have the same issue? I don't know what that beeping noise is. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Oh, look at these guys. Hey, buddy. Do you have anything that's helpful? Oxygen gear. Battery, can of food, wafer. Oh, look, the rocket. Copper. Doesn't look like anything too useful, but these tin walls actually are nice. We can take a bunch of these. These are the Galacticraft torches. Those don't give us any heat. These tin walls are they're not expensive, but them being free is quite a bit cheaper, obviously. So I think what I'm probably gonna want to do is solve this heat issue, which means I am gonna need to go back home. Because, is moon turf used for anything? It is not. Moon dirt is not either. I do like the color of it a little bit. What is this? This is moon rock, which does not have any uses. This is copper from the moon. This can just be smelted into Galacticraft copper. Okay. So I think... So that's a meteor. That is why we are here. I didn't mean to save a screenshot. I don't know if I can pick that up right now. Does it need to stay on the ground for longer? Nope. Okay, so that's the kind of purpose of being here on this planet, is to get the meteoric iron. So, if I press V, let's see if this is faster. It's a little bit faster using it on single block. Now this meteoric... Ooh, that one broke into 2, actually. There's not a way to double it. This isn't hurting. We're just taking damage, which is just taking food from our meat feeder, which is already halfway depleted. That's not great. So I think what's going to make the most sense is for me to go home and get the thermal gear so that I'm not freezing. So if we take, we've got these. We can put our rocket on there. It does not have any fuel, and we need the fuel loader for that. So I'm going to go back home. I'm going to set up our fuel loader, which is here. So I can pop that down and get energy fed to it. Exporting. Fantastic. And I can put that in there. That means you're going to get fuel. And I don't think we need that much fuel to get off of the moon, because it's lower gravity here. Yeah, that should be plenty enough fuel, I believe. Wow, how much is one bucket going to fill it? Halfway? Yeah, that's plenty fuel. So what I'm going to do, break that and this and put them back in here. And I'm going to go back home and then come back to the moon. And then once we're back here, we'll set up our base. Oh, there's the volume for the launch. All right. So I'm going to head back to Earth. And then I'll come back to you when we're coming back to the moon. Okay, so this should be close to enough. So it's like standard armor, so 4... So 16. Let's get our helmet and our boots. That's enough for leggings. So all we need now is enough to make that, which is 8. There we go. Now, does this affect us? We're at 13 here. If we put all this on, we're still at 13. And now if I took off our armor, we'd be able to see we're wearing like thermal looking underwear, but we don't need to take all of that. We are ready to go back to space, and this guy has fuel. So we've got our strongbox, we've got thermal padding, oxygen. We're still doing okay on oxygen. I could pop this off real quick if I swap these out. Can I just right click? Yeah, I can right click. Oh, look, it's even on our back. Interesting. There we go. Okay. So let's go back into space. Now we actually have the sound. The first launch didn't have sound, but I should have overlaid a launch video over that. Nice. All right, I'll see you on the moon. Okay, I was wrong. We're still taking cold damage, apparently. How did grass get up here? I didn't even notice that the first time. So let's take this and our bucket fuel there. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. We get how is our temperature going up? We're at a 1. Is it the higher up? Does our temperature go up higher? So I think what I am going to do is we get 2 Ferni and 2 coal blocks. Can we get enough heat going to keep us warm? Nope, that's going there. That's going there. Okay, so 2 furnace, not enough to warm us up. Gotcha. And the thermal padding is not enough to keep us warm, so I think what I need is this guy, the portable regulator. I can't craft this from here, and I can't craft this because it's the tier 3, so that's not gonna work. The heating unit, I don't have pyrotheum, but we could... might be possible to get this. I feel like... got 4 extra meteors. I feel like there wasn't a great warning about... Oh, look, I'm dying. Let's fix that. Okay. I'm glad I brought that extra meat feeder. Okay, so we need to go home. Okay. And I need to figure out whatever it is I've got to do to solve this issue of heat. It's going in there. Let's press F. That's getting fuel. because the heat issue is not great. So I don't quite know what I should be doing here, because these guys... Why do I feel like that had two different recipes? Hmm. That's a problem. Let's see. Here, doesn't look like there's anything for heat. Does the air conditioner, is my air conditioner doing too much? My air conditioner might be doing too much here. Okay, so we have fuel. So let's go ahead and pick this stuff up. Pick that up, pick this up. Put those in there. And let's... Ooh. There's another meteor. Let's head back home. I'm going to figure this out, and then we'll come back once again when we're back on the moon. So actually, I was looking at these fallen meteors, and they can be pulverized for 4 meteoric iron. So I think what I'm going to do is take my exchanger here with Silk Touch and just exchange the meteors for blocks of dirt, and then we can pulverize them. And I grabbed 2 lava buckets here to deal with our heat issues. Just refueling our rocket. Once that's back refueled, then we can go back to space. Back to the moon. Okay, so we're back, and I honestly have no idea what to do about this heat issue, because if I take my bucket of lava and put down a bucket of lava right here, you can see in the top left it does not affect our temperature at all. So, not sure what the play is going to be there. But what I want to do is switch this over into paste. And then I should be able to shift right click on that. And from here, I should just be able to click paste. And that should put everything down. Fantastic. I just need to put the door there. And this is a complete structure. So let's take our bubble distributor and our solar panel, oxygen collector, and our leaves. And I didn't bring any of the tubes, but let's see. If we break, or if we go into here, is this getting power? It is getting power. Now, is it getting power if I tuck it into this corner? No, no, no. But here it does. Okay. So we do have power coming in, and I can put that there. The bubble distributor needs power, which should be coming in from this side. And then the compressor is going to get power from there. Now, there's not enough leaf blocks in the area. I do need more fluid ducts. So let's get a couple of those. Now I should be able to pop this guy down and then just put some leaves down. And I'm not sure, 2 per second. And that should be coming out of there. Now, I can't put any there. 12 per second, okay. I'm not sure. 30, okay. That's our bubble distributor, so let's grab our fluid pipes. And that's got a tiny little bubble there. So what we can do is get more oxygen collectors. And now I'm back to taking cold damage, which is awesome. And these can come out, and I need 3 more servos. 1, 2, and 3. Our bubble's getting a little bigger. Really sucks that the lava... Oh, there it's working. Does it work when there's, like, oxygen, or when we're in an enclosed area? When all that goes away, does it go back away? Does. Okay, okay. We're getting somewhere. So if I put lava there, look at that. We've got heat. And we don't have power or we don't have oxygen. Because we need more leaves. 10, 38. This one's really slow. 12 per second. So it just must be out of range. Now, I'm not certain if leaves outside count. Let's check. That better? 36 it is. So I can probably, honestly, put these outside. And that'll give us a decent oxygen bubble. Sweet. So this is inside this bubble here. Now, do I have shears? Because I would like to actually move these. 27 RF per tick. It says sun partially visible. Okay. These are getting full power, which is fantastic. Okay, so we are surviving on the moon. Our temperature is still pretty low. It's only a 6, but if we pick this up, it will drop. Now it's 8. Why is it changing between like 6, 8? We have meteors falling. Did I do a good job of putting this in a single chunk? I think I did. So what I'm going to do is AFK here for a little bit. And try and stay warm. And I'm going to let the meteors fall. And let's see. It looks like this one is still kind of warming me up. Would it be better if I put 2 in here? No, it does not seem to matter. Okay. Would it be better if this was closed off? If I pop that down there, that there. No, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so let's just double check that this does work. Where are some meteors? Can they be seen on the map? Not really. We just have to kind of get lucky looking around. There's one. So if we do... Ooh, I don't think it works because it's a tile entity. Might not work. The silk touch might not work. I might have to get silk touch and put that on a pickaxe. I think I definitely want to do that because... Actually, let's try this. Let's surface area. That did not work. Okay. Because if I just break this, it's only going to give me like a few, right? Yeah, give me 2 versus the 4 that I can always get. Oh, there's another one right there. I wonder after, let's see, not F4, F3. Is there a way that we can see what the block is or what state it's in? Doesn't. So what I'm going to do is go hang out here, go AFK for a little bit, let a bunch of meteors fall. We're going to warm our toes back up. I think what I'm going to do is get some shears and move these leaves all outside, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so just a little update. I moved our oxygen collectors outside. I put in one of these sealable fluid pipes and a sealable aluminum wire. Now, I think that only really makes a difference if I was using the oxygen sealer, which I could do. Fills a room of your space base with breathable air. So I could do this. Find leaks using sensor glasses. Maximum room size for one sealer is 1 10 by 10 by 8. We can use more sealers for larger rooms. Interesting. Oxygen detector. Okay. Awesome. So I did that, and just to kind of show you, we do have a decent amount of coverage here around the base. So I just put a bunch of leaves out here. That encompasses the whole base. And then our little block of lava here does give us just enough lava to not freeze our toes off. And we had a couple of meteors fall. So there's like one there. I think one crashed down right outside. Yeah, one right there. And this one looks like it's completely cooled off, but it doesn't look like we are allowed to use the exchanging gadget. So what I'll probably do one last time is make a trip home to get Silk Touch and put that. I'm going to leave this bubble on. Just that way I'll know if I have any issues with oxygen. But I'm going to get Silk Touch, which is easy enough to get because we do have the Arcane Ensorcelator, and it's just glowstone in a book. So I'll have to put Silk Touch on a pickaxe of some sort so that we can gather those up after we sit and let them collect for a long time. And then eventually we can automate that once we go to Mars. Once we go to Mars, fine regolith can be pulverized again, and then red sand doesn't really have a use. I mean, we could sift it the same as sand, but yeah, this is going to be the way that we're going to get meteoric iron for a little while. And then once we have the meteoric iron, we can craft it into conductive iron with just the raw. I don't think that there's a way to double this. No, there's not. So we'll get into conductive iron, and conductive iron will let us get into the next kind of alloy stages here of electrical steel. And then electrical steel alloys to make dark steel, which alloys to make end steel, which does not alloy with anything, but it's how we get like end steel plates. So we can get into turbines and all sorts of other things. The atomic reconstructor. Okay, so I gathered up a decent amount of these fallen meteors. I just kind of went AFK for a while and let those land, and I went back home, got ourselves a Silk Touch and Efficiency pickaxe. Now what I'm doing is looking around for a dungeon. We need a dungeon so we can get the new spacecraft schematic, and finding a dungeon is a challenge. We're looking for a hole in the ground, essentially. Not track. So basically, I'm just flying around, like trying to look at some of the dark spots, but just using slingshot, opening our hang glider when we're way up in the air. And in previous versions of Galacticraft, I'm not sure when it was changed. In previous versions, once you found a single dungeon, the rest of the dungeons were like on the same XY axis, like every 500 blocks or something like that. That was another here, right there. Um, there's tons of meteors. They're just always kind of landing and making making a ruckus. These were some ones. So if we take a look at the map, here it looked like a dark spot, but it was not dungeon. And I'm struggling to find one. We do have another meteor here, though. This is something that we can use. We've got a couple more presses that we need. Those will be found in this skystone. It would probably be worth it to gather up all of this skystone. We can make skystone using skystone dust and barrels. I think we already had the silicon. I take a look at press. I think they might be back our chest, or where they are, honestly. But I am going to keep on looking for dungeon. When I find one, we'll be back. Here we go. I found one. Just for reference, take a look at the map. Let's turn it off. So if you're looking for this kind of spherical spot on the map here. And I don't think I had another one pop up that I missed. It's kind of just scanning around. Oh, you know what? That looks like another one right there. So let's save that. Take a look around a little bit more because there's not a guarantee. That might be one. There's not a guarantee that this is going to have what we're looking for. Where was that at? Right here? Yeah, right. So we'll go in here, and there will be some mobs that we'll have to take care of. And I put my arrows away, so that's not great. Let's take those. And I could get torches, the glowstone torch. We'll pull in a bunch of that as well. That in our offhand. And grab our arrows. Okay, let's come in here. Now there are spawners in here. But we should be able to do all right. Got our multi-shot bow. It'd be nice if we'd have put power on it. Yeah. Okay. And this is an evolved skeleton. Over here we've got evolved creeper. Nice little chest. Heavy duty shovel, camp food, some iron. Eat. These. I think we'll have a little bit of an issue if my arrows get stuck. Cobwebs. Back up. Back up. Uh-oh, I got stuck in a cobweb. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. We ran out of arrows. Okay, got it. Okay, that looks like the boss room. So let's put away a couple things. We don't need our hang glider and our slingshot right now. We don't need these hot drinks. We're doing all right for food and for water. I don't need that. Got 43 arrows. we should be okay. Now that's where we're going to. Now, I don't remember what the boss is in here, and I'm hoping it's not crazy loud, but plenty of durability. Oh, we killed him. He was crazy loud. Hopefully the editing software will... Jeez, that was crazy loud. Oh, okay, so we gotta kill him again. Brother. Okay. That was crazy loud. And then I left the boss room, so I had to fight him again. So that was cool. That was neat. I almost thought I was going to die in lava. So that's nice and fun. Let's turn this back up. And let's hope that our guy's in here that we need. The moon buggy. Weak. Okay. Guess we'll take all this and we'll just drop off a bunch of this stuff at home. We don't need iron, don't need those. Cheese. Let's see. All stuff we do not need. Now, the moon buggy schematic, I can craft, or I can trade. So I'm going to take that. What I'm going to do, actually, is leave here and go to another dungeon and see... whoa, skeleton. Ah. Okay. So I'm going to go see if I can find that in another dungeon. And I think there is a way to trade it with the Martians. So worst comes to worst, I could trade with the Martians. And I think we'll have enough boost to get out of here. And then going back to our base camp here. Base. Okay, here's another chest and moon buggy. Bake. So you can trade these, but you need sapphires to trade them. So, and the only way to get sapphires with the Martians is to trade them jungle saplings, which I do not have enough of, or any. I could sieve for them, but I really don't want to go all the way back home. I suppose leaves. Have leaves? I don't. So maybe I could do it here, but no. Can't. So I'm gonna figure this out. Finally, I got it. And what is this? The frequency module? I already have one. Canned food, don't care that. This actually goes in here. This is what lets you talk to the Martians and lets you hear sound space. But we got the tier 2 rocket. Sweet. So that's basically like the only thing we needed to do on the moon. Don't think there's any other reason at all to be here. Maybe gathering more fallen meteors, but I pretty much think that's it, truth be told. There was a couple of chests in here that didn't have anything. Luck of the Sea, I don't really care about that. Okay, so I came back to our little outpost here, and I took everything out. I'm going to leave our lava. I went ahead and broke down all of our oxygen and power and our solar and stuff like that, because I don't think we're going to be back. I'm going to leave the outpost here. And I'm going to leave our lander here. And I think that if we ever have to come back, we'll have a little base of operations. But I don't think we are going to need to. I'll unclaim, or I'll unload this area. And I went ahead and filled up our rocket. So we've got enough fuel to head back to Earth. And then I gathered up a stack and a quarter of fallen meteors, and these can be pulverized each into 4, so that should be 5 stacks of meteoric iron, which should be plenty enough to get us to Mars. All right, we're coming back home for a landing. We've got our lunar chest there, and we're chilling. So cool. I didn't break this one down and move it because I actually needed fuel tank. I forgot. We can take that and... Oh, that's actually full, so let's grab another tank. These tanks are awesome. These open blocks tanks. Fill those up. We'll take our parachests, our strong box. These guys here. We've been back and forth to the moon a couple of times. You can see our kind of mission log here. Okay, so what I am going to do now is replenish all of our building blocks here. Our schematic, what we do is put that into here and hit unlock. And now we've got the tier 2 rocket, which takes the new heavy duty plating, which takes signalum, lumium, and inderium. These are all brand new materials that we're going to need. And I believe, yeah, so we're going to have to get into, need that, so we're going to have to get into pyrotheum. Or lumium, also pyrotheum. These are just blends that you can get there, and then signalum. Signalum. Okay, destabilized redstone is just redstone. Awesome. So these are induction smelter recipes, and each one of these, yeah, is going to need pyrotheum. Fantastic. And the blend is lead, platinum, and resonant ender, which is just melted ender pearls. Okay. That shouldn't be too difficult. We could automate pyrotheum without too much of an issue. Pyrotheum, we need a vat. So this, I think, is our next step. So we need some amount. I'll probably go this. Which one of these is cheap? Probably have to use this one. This one's probably cheaper, but we don't have these circuits, but I think we could. Yeah, we could make these. No, because we need pyrotheum. Okay. So we've got to make this one first. So for these alchemical imbuers, and then dark steel, that's just more dark steel and electrical steel. We've got grains of infinity. So this should not be too bad. We need a bunch of electrical steel, which is just a cast. We've got to make conductive iron. And I believe it's a 1-to-1. Okay. So that's not too terrible. Let's get our fuel tanks down here. Split that between. And we'll get our landing pad back down. I don't think we're going to need this tier 2 rocket or this tier 1 rocket anymore. So what I could actually do, get another launch pad, another set of launch pads. All right, there. And this could kind of sit on display over here. Now let's put it... Not rotate it? Kind of a bummer that it's only facing that one direction. It always faces south? Interesting. Okay, so this is all of our raw meteoric iron processed up, so we can throw this in the induction smelter. This should be auto import. Fantastic. That is going to make up our conductive iron, which then we are going to have to throw into a high oven with sulfur, I believe it's redstone and sand. These are 100% use chance. I suppose we could get silicon. Is there... What's the best way to get silicon? Normally... You could get it... You used to be able to get it from this guy here, but I think if we grind again, does that make... Yeah, that makes dust. And that doesn't have any other recipe. Sand. It's the furnace, the 2x2 craft. Yeah. We'll leave it on furnace for glass. Okay. A little bit of a bummer because in other packs, you can throw another set of grind here and it'll turn it into silicon, but we don't have that. So we're going to have to either cook quartz in some sort of way into silicon, or we could make a sag mill eventually, and that's a 50% chance to do sand. So that's probably what we'll do in the future. I don't think there's a good way to get silicon blocks, but there's conductive iron, so that's pretty nice. We're gonna need actually to take one of these and cook it into meteoric iron. That's gonna get us our quest. We actually get 2 quests from that, and we got this one done too, so we got some heavy-duty plates. Let's take a look back here. You literally went to the moon for this. Congrats. Now you can progress onto making tier 2 machines. Fantastic. This material is one part of a chain of steps needed to acquire the later alloys of Ender IO. It is not very useful in Ender IO, and it is not very useful in the pack either. Okay. Dun 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 dun. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I have no idea what you put on this quest. It was mostly to make the quest look nice. Okay. High ovens galore. If you want to achieve good production of the next few alloys, you'll need to build a couple new high ovens. So get the materials ready and also make more seared stone. So I did go ahead and craft up more of the stuff that we'll need there. That actually gets us 16 scorched bricks, which is not bad at all. I did build another high oven and get to work on that. What we are going to do is grab a stack of sand, a stack of redstone, and a stack of sulfur. Right. Sand, redstone, gunpowder. I'm not going to use redstone. We're going to use gunpowder. Not that much. So I put another oven up here and went ahead and put an elevator down. So we put our sand, our gunpowder. Nope. That's supposed to be redstone, I think. Yeah, sulfur is not the one we want. It is aluminum, redstone. Yeah, redstone. Redstone's the one to go with. So not sulfur. We were right. Redstone. And then I'm also going to need a hopper to put this conductive iron in with. Redstone, and then boom, conductive iron. Whoops. And that will go in there. And that should make us, what, a stack? Eventually that'll make us a stack of electrical steel. So I need to get not a basin, but I could use a basin. Do I want to use a basin? I don't want to use a basin. I don't have an ingot cast. I can pop that down there, and then we can grab a hardened fluid pipe and a servo. We can extract that. And electrical steel, and then down here, actually, I was getting some more scorched bricks going. We can take this ingot cast. I ran out of seared stone, so let's pop that in there. Let's take our ingot cast so we can get our electrical steel cooking up. Pop that in there, turn this on. That's going to get electrical steel, and we need another hopper. Let's get a full-size hopper, and that'll go right there. Boom, electrical steel. That's another quest, and it gets us 8 more tier 1.5 machines. Between 1 and 2, there's infinite numbers. So I decided to call this chassis the tier 1.5. It can be crafted with tier 1 circuits, but you need materials from the moon. Okay, so we need plates. Everything else we have, and we can actually, I think we're pretty close to getting our... That, truth be told, we'll need to let this process a little bit. But if I take 4 of these guys and throw them into our compactor, that'll get us some plates. It's a little bit slow, but aside from that, that's everything that we need. Right? Yeah, we've got 2 ingots. We just need to get plates. I guess I'll put that on import. I don't know why that didn't export. There it goes. Okay, so bam. Simple machine chassis. And it gave us 8 more electrical steel, which is nice. Now we just need dark steel, which is... If we take this guy and we smelt it down, that'll give us that. So what I need to do is build another high oven right here. Okay, so this is our other scorched oven. It's the same size. I went ahead and put a hopper here on this one because this guy was running out of sand. And if you don't have all these catalysts in here, it'll just melt the conductive iron down and then it just gets cast out. So I've got a stack of electrical steel, and this actually needs an obsidian catalyst. So it's obsidian, redstone, and gunpowder. So we can throw these in here, and those are going to get melted down. But I do need to get another ingot cast, and I should probably actually get, I don't know, a couple of these. Let's screw it. Let's just get like 8 of them. We're going to need a decent amount of these. This has got... Need to put more bricks in here, apparently, because I have a lot of seared stone in there. So I need to let that sit and finish running out of scorched bricks. Don't know how long that's going to take. But I'm going to get some more casts, and we'll be back. Okay, so I got my new casts. So we've got a ton of dark steel. So we can just turn this guy on here, and that's going to process into our dark steel, which is going to get us exactly what we need. So boom, that's 1. That's 8. Now the vat. So actually, I can make this. No. Nope. I keep forgetting. It was like 2 seconds ago. I was like, no, I can't make that. So we've got conductive iron, we've got electrical steel, and we've got dark steel. Now they're not completely automated. They're not passive yet. When we get meteoric iron, I'll probably passive them. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, when we get the meteoric iron set up, that's after we go to Mars. We'll probably put that over here because we've got to do rocket ship cargo stuff. So let's make our vat. So I need 4 of these guys. And that's something that we've already done up. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Okay, this should be 4 alchemical imbuers. And then the bimetal gears, I should be able to get this guy, and then some affinity. That's over this way. We need 2 gears, which we need... I thought I had that. Where is it at? Oh, it's over here. Right there. And to make those, we need 2 gears, which means 2 of these guys. And 2 of these. We need 1 more. What are we missing? More dark steel ingots, which is not a problem because we got a ton of that now. We can craft that up, and then that means we've got the vat. Sweet. And I think, unfortunately, we need a capacitor for this. Now, the capacitor on keyboard, these do scale. Now, I don't think I have, oh, I do have grains of infinity. I don't have enough, though. We do have everything else that we need, though. So I'm going to grab some grains of infinity, and I probably should take some of these, actually, to put in the system. So if we get 1 capacitor, I don't have energetic alloy yet. That is something that we will get. How do we get that? We have to make the blocks? Yes, we do. So we need the atomic reconstructor. Okay, so that's way far down the road. That is way far down the road. So we'll take our basic capacitor, and that clicks in there. And now to make, oh, what is it? Pyrotheum. Make a blazing pyrotheum. We need destabilized redstone, blaze powder, and sulfur. And for the destabilized redstone, we could use a magma crucible, but I could also just melt it. The magma crucible actually isn't too bad to make. I have one here that's not currently being used, so we could steal that. And if I set that to output there, we could... How much do I need? One equals 500. I don't know how big this tank is, though. Let's take a stack. Actually, take that many. And then we also need blaze powder and sulfur, which is not a big deal because we've got tons of that. Those go in there. Now, are there any other catalysts for this? It doesn't look like there is. So we'll just throw that in there. That's going to get melted down. It'll get pushed over. Yep. Boom. So that's working. And that is going to make blazing pyrotheum, which then we pump into blaze powder to make pyrotheum dust. So what I'll do... do these lose their contents when you break them? I don't know. We could just take a handy dandy tank, though. Why do I have 18 seared tanks? We place that not there, but there, and then tell you to push. Push. Bam, there we go. Blazing pyrotheum tank. Nice. We got another simple machine chassis. And now we need to take the blazing pyrotheum and put it into a fluid transposer, which both of those that we have are actually full. I think what I'll do is I'll swap these two machines. So I'll get a fluid transposer. Is this energized glowstone we are using? And purified water we will use, so I need another fluid transposer, and that'll get us blazing pyrotheum, which means that will get us fluxed electrum. And we actually had everything we needed to be able to make that. So I could actually just take this tank, do that, and grab some blaze powder. Pop that in there. Let's turn all that off. And now that's going to work. And I think I have one more kit, and I feel like this is a decent place to use that. We'll throw 2 augments in there as well. And that'll make this run a little bit faster. Now this single biofuel generator is probably running out of top end. But the good news is we are not consistently using all these machines. This is using 30 micro units. This is using 120. Yeah, so this is working quite a bit faster than that generator can handle. But luckily we've got a big buffer here. And this has a decent buffer too. This holds 1,000,000 energy, which is pretty nice. So yeah. I could even, if I wanted to, just run like a fluid pipe over. But what I think what I'll do is swap these 2 machines around once they're done filling up. Once they're done with their processes. Look at that, boom. Pyrotheum dust. Nice. And it gave us extra, and this guy is fluxed electrum and pyrotheum, and we have that. We have a bunch of fluxed electrum. So we could pop those in there. And how long is that going to take? Not long. Look at that. Yeah, rocket logistics right here. We'll need this. If at some point you will start needing a constant supply of a specific resource on the moon, set up an automated delivery system with rockets. I don't know why this quest is here and not here. I think it should be here. Found on Mars. The wrong one, this one. And boom, fluxed electrum. Nice. Give us some more. Here 2 circuits. Yep. And I don't think that we have printed circuit boards. We don't have printed circuit boards, and I don't have the materials to craft those. Green plastic and compressed iron. I could get some of that going. And green plastic. Drop that in there. We'll get a stack of this, and that will almost finish out our quest. And green plastic, almost a stack. Boom. I need to figure out a better way to organize this area. Turn that off. Pop those in there. That's going to get us our circuits. We'll have to put those bad boys in here. Okay, there's another one of those guys, and I think this might be everything that we need. Oh, look at that. The advanced control circuit. Bam. Bingo, bongo. More flux electrum. Nice. We are chilling, dude. We are chilling. We can dump that in there. Pop that back in there. We've got plenty of blazing pyrotheum. We're living the high life here. Look at this. Nice. And then these guys, we'll complete that quest. We need one of these, which means we actually need 4 5 fluxed electrum. Actually, 8 fluxed electrum. Do we have that much? We do. So if I put this in the compactor. Okay, so this guy is this guy, which means we need a diamond. Bam. 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 There's our flux crystal, which gets us our fluxed armor plating, which completes defensive needs, which almost completes this entire quest line. We could make that, but launch controller apparently. Yeah, end steel. This is way. Oh, dark steel? No. Oh, we need Desh. Desh and endstone. We've got endstone. We don't have Desh yet. We get that from Mars. Sweet. So that's completed. Next thing we'll be looking into doing is getting into Mars. Temperature safety. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. To be honest, I think that's definitely a good wrapping up point for the video. Now that these are all done, what I can do is swap these around. This is going to have an extract there. This can get pumped out into that. This is going to not do anything there, but we'll push there. And we'll also say it will pull on the top so we can put blaze powder and sulfur in there. And this guy's going to also get blaze powder. That's empty. Sweet. So if we take some drawers, we'll take a single drawer and a double drawer. And then we need blaze powder, redstone, and this gets used in the dude there, and also in the vat, blaze powder, redstone also. So that goes there. That goes there. We get a key to lock these. You get a redstone. You get a blaze powder. And you get sulfur. Correct. And then you are going to auto import. And then this can get a drawer to export the pyrotheum. This will be an import from there. That will be an export automatically. Then one more key, lock, boom, bam, automated. Nice. It'll just be redstone, blaze powder, sulfur. And eventually we will redo all these so that they're completely automated. Right now it's like just the process of getting everything set up. I need another drawer because that needs blaze powder. That's right. We can put one there, and this will import. Almost had it done. Blaze powder. Boom. There we go. That'll complete that quest, which gets me 32 more. And those will go in here. Let's put 51 in there. That'll get us more fluxed electrum. Oh, man. We're killing it. All right. That is going to be enough for today's episode. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, and if you're still here, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Getting to 1,000 stubs this year would be fantastic. And the quicker we get to that point, the better. All right. Thanks for stopping in.